Hello, everybody. How are you, bright lights? Welcome to another episode of Waking Up to Your True Potential. My name is Laura Renankowski, and I'm an international life and relationship coach. And I coach in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. I'm so excited to have my guest today. My guest today is Maria Jesus Marin Lopez. And Maria is a soul healer through relationships. And she's also the author of 7 books, which I think is incredible. And her books are all about relationship dynamics and the unconscious wounds that we have in relationships. And she's originally from Spain, and she lived in Ireland for a long time, and that's where we met. We met when she lived here in Ireland. And then she went back to Spain. She went back to Spain to Alicante with her husband and 3 kids. So she's like Superwoman. She does it all. And then she also runs a holistic center in Alicante. It's called Zen Centro Holístico in Alicante, and she runs the center with her husband, John. So yeah, so you're officially a superwoman. So you're very welcome, Maria. It's so nice to see you today.
Thank you, Laura. It's an honor to be here sharing this little chat about relationships with you. And I hope we can bring some nice gems to the people listening to us.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. We can. And my God, I've admired your work for such a long time. We both work with relationships. We both help, people heal relationships. And of course, everything starts with a relationship that you have with yourself. And then, that impacts all the other relationships, that you have in your life. And yeah, you're such a master, and the way that you've written 7 books, like that just blows me away. I really have to finish writing my books as well. So I'll use this as an inspiration to finish writing my books. And then you also mentioned that you're working on your 8th book too, right?
Yes, it's a slower process, but it's there.
Yeah, but yeah, you're pretty busy. You're pretty busy. So yeah, you've done so much around relationships. And one thing that I find really interesting that you talk about, and I think is really helpful, especially now, because we've all been in these crazy lockdown times, and the dynamics of relationships have completely changed, right? Like if you think about how relationships have changed in the past 18 months, we kind of think about relationships, before and after Corona, right? Because they've changed in such a massive way. And one thing that you talk about a lot are the unconscious wounds in relationships. And you have a lot of information about that. And I think that these unconscious wounds have really come to the surface, right? Like in these times of lockdown. So can you tell me a little bit more about these unconscious wounds?
Yes, of course. It's really interesting because I discovered these wounds when I was working with people, and everybody will come in telling me their own story, their own problem, whatever it was going on in their life. And then I started to notice that you could really put everybody's problems into 4 different categories. So it's like everybody was either looking for more freedom, either they were looking for love, either they were looking for a sense of safety, or they were looking for more connection. So I just started to listen to people's stories from a different place. And then, just things started to click in my mind. And I'll tell you like a practical example. I had this young couple the other day, and it's a young love, it's Corona love, right?
Young Corona love, I love it.
Yes, they met through social media, and they just fell madly in love with each other. And after 6 months, they moved in together. So they came to me because since they moved in together, they're just fighting all the time, and they're just, what's going on? They love each other, but they can't stand each other. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So what was really interesting is when we look at things from the perspective of the wounds and to see the dynamic, you need to think of a relationship as a dance.
Yes.
So if you are playing a dance, your partner is playing the same dance with you. Now, if you want to change the dynamic, you need to change the dance, but you need to know which dance you're dancing to and which dance you want to dance, right?
Yeah.
So this couple, he had the wound of abandonment. So he was following her all the time, like Tom and Jerry, right?
Yeah.
So he had the abandonment and needed her love, needed to fill himself with her love. Now, she had the wound of the wall. She had a wall. So when he was coming at her, she'd be like, please just leave me alone. I need some time, I need space. He couldn't receive that because he felt that as a rejection, as an abandonment.
Right.
So he will go after her and then she'll just go bananas and scream and shout abuse and
Yeah.
And the funny thing is when they were telling me this, for him, even though she was losing it, that was okay for him because they were together. Because he didn't feel abandoned.
Even though
they were fighting and she was going like wild.
Right.
That was comforting for him at some level.
Okay.
So, then we worked with her at her wall and she understood why the wall was there and he understood that the wall had nothing to do with him.
Okay.
And then we just came to this lovely place where he understood that she needed the space. And I said to her, you need to tell him, okay, I need 5 minutes to cool down. And the key is, and when I'm ready, I'll come back and speak with you. And that alone brought that connection and that understanding of this dynamic.
Wow.
So it was that simple. He just needed to be told, I'm coming back for you. I just need 5 minutes and I will come back to talk to you.
Wow.
So when we have the wound of abandonment, like for example, like this guy, the wound of abandonment, we feel, think, experience that the source of love is outside ourselves.
Yeah.
If my partner is not giving me the love that I need, then I'll die. I can't.
Yeah.
Right? So what he needs to learn to heal this wound is that the source of love is within.
Yeah.
He needs to find that flow of love within himself so that he can fulfill his need for love, so it doesn't put pressure on her. And then she needs to be in a place where she can allow her wall to come down so that she can be seen. I asked them to hold hands and look into each other's eyes. She couldn't because she felt seen. She has so much to protect.
Okay.
So to be holding hands, looking into, she couldn't. She started like, and then she cried. And then when she cried, this lovely vulnerability came up. And that was just such a beautiful moment.
Wow.
And it was like, this was done in an hour. And, they contacted me like a few days later to say, wow, like there's an understanding of the wound. And I think one of the keys in relationships is to have that emotional awareness and to create a safe space. To create a safe space where the other person can be triggered with respect, but that we know this is their trigger, they're gonna react, but we're here, we're holding space. We're holding space. And that what, in my own marriage, this kind of thought is what, we're 12 years together now.
Wow.
And is what's creating this safe space. Like if I'm triggered and I lose it, John, my husband, he's okay because he knows, okay, she's losing it. It's not personal. It's just, something that's going on. And I just hold love in space. And then I do the same thing for him. So, because we are humans and we're not just floating angels.
You're not perfect. Even you, Maria, you're not perfect. Okay, cool.
It's, I'm wounded. I'm wounded. I have trauma and my trauma comes up in different ways. And my husband's trauma comes up in different ways. And actually it's in those moments where our relationship grows. Because relationships, like sometimes we think of relationships as something that is fixed. you fall in love, you love each other, that's it.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. And it's not
Yeah.
it.
No.
I tell you, it's not it.
No.
You have your little deaths and reverts and destruction
Yeah.
and construction, and it is in constant movement. And especially
Yeah.
if you want to be in a conscious relationship, if you really want to be authentic, you need to
Yeah.
go to the darkest places within yourself.
That's true.
And your partner has to do that together.
Yeah.
Because if only one person is doing it, it doesn't work, because then one person grows and the other one doesn't. So then you're in different spaces. So it's to be brave, to look at your wounds, your traumas, your shadow, and bring it up into the relationship, to be seen, to be accepted, and to transcend it together.
Yeah, exactly. To heal it together. Yeah, that's one thing that I always say as well, that the two people in a relationship constantly grow and evolve, and the relationship constantly grows and evolves, right? Sometimes you grow and evolve together, and sometimes you grow and evolve apart, right? That's just part of life. But it is true. It is true that it's like it's constantly, it's ever changing, ever evolving, right? So yeah.
And that's why to have this safe space, this safe emotional space where you are connected, for me anyway, and with the people that I work with, is what allows you to move forward together. Is to have an interdependent relationship. Interdependent means that I am my own authority, I have my own life, my own energy, and I share that in the relationship. Like we move away from codependency, or we move away from being too independent. We're in a place of sharing and flowing,
Definitely. So you called it an interdependent relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interdependent.
I like that. So so it would be like an interdependent conscious relationship. That would be like the ultimate relationship goal right there, right? An interdependent conscious relationship. That's what we all want. That should be the goal, right? Yeah. No.
But sometimes with the word conscious relationship, sometimes people think, well, if I am in a conscious relationship, that's it. I'm conscious. No. What it means is, like, if you are in a conscious relationship, what it means is that you need to dig deep into your unconscious to bring it out into, So I think sometimes it's easier to be in an unconscious relationship. It's less work.
It's definitely easier. It's definitely easier.
Less work,
it's definitely less work, definitely. And it's it's interesting, one point that you brought up, that when you are in a relationship, whether you call it a conscious or an unconscious relationship, a relationship will bring everything out, right? Like you bring out all the lights, and it brings out all the darkness and the shadows and the traumas and all of it, right?
Totally. But again, it's how you deal with that. Because sometimes, again, like this woman I was telling you about, if you don't feel safe with what's coming up, you build a wall, and you don't allow your partner to come in.
That's true.
And I mean, we all do it at different, and again, we all have blind spots. We have things in our unconscious that we don't even know is there, but our partner knows, because they can see it.
Exactly.
They can see it, but we don't know it's there. There's a behavior, there's a trigger, there is something that we do that is, we have no idea that is there. And again, this might come from a childhood experience. It might even come from an ancestral experience. Like it's just not only our own experience that we're sharing with somebody else, especially when we're working deep at being authentic in our relationships,
Exactly. Yeah, no, all of that is so fascinating. And I find it amazing how you worked with this young couple, that found Corona love, which a lot of people have found Corona love, online, right? But it's amazing how when they got more awareness of their wounds, and they just did like a couple of little changes, a couple of little shifts, that changed the whole dynamic, right?
The dance changed.
Exactly. It's all about the dance.
Totally.
So,
and sometimes it's just as simple as that.
Exactly. It's like the
Mhm.
more awareness you have, right?
Yeah,
It's like the more awareness you have of yourself and of course of your partner and all of that. So yeah, these
yeah,
wounds are, and then you mentioned that there's four main wounds, right?
yeah.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about the four main
Yeah,
ones?
so we have abandonment and rejection, and
Yeah.
so they are in a place of lack of love where we're looking validation, love outside ourselves. So how we heal that is about recognizing that the source of love is within. That uh, I am love, and the purpose of a relationship is to share love. It's not to give or receive. It's about it's about sharing the flow of love. It's not a transaction of giving and
Yeah.
taking. You know, it's a flow of sharing, which has a different quality to it. Then we have control, the wound of control. And this is
Yeah.
where power struggles come in.
Oh God. Yeah. I know that one.
Yeah, and again, it's like,
Uh,
you know, I really like to look at conflict when it comes up in a relationship. Like, you know, sometimes we kind of run away from conflict. We think if conflict arises in the relationship, it's because there's something wrong with the relationship or we don't love each other. But in fact, the opposite is true. Like when conflict arises in a relationship, it is because that's what we need to look at and heal together.
right.
So control is looking for freedom, and freedom is who we are in essence. We are freedom. We are the energy of freedom. Freedom cannot be given to us, cannot be taken away from us. Freedom is our essence. Is our
Yeah.
soul is free.
Yeah.
Then we have the wound of fear. And this one comes up in different ways. You know, it could be around sexuality, it could be around our emotional self, it could even be around our belief systems and what we believe, you know. So again, we're looking, when we are trapped in this fear wound, we see everything as dangerous. Every experience is dangerous. And there is a part that we feel we need to protect. And again, it's like that sense of safety that we're looking for will never come from outside. Our partner can't protect us. It comes from us. We need to tap into our own safety. You know, I think there's a Northern American saying that they're not safe places, but safe people.
Oh, right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
could lock yourself up in a mansion with bodyguards, cameras, and everything and feel unsafe. Or
Yeah.
you could be in the middle of a war zone and feel safe because it
Yeah.
is a state of consciousness. It's something
It
that we need to
is.
nourish from within.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this creates sometimes a lot of, when this is not healed, sometimes we see the partner, as I call it, as the monster. You know, there's a projection of they're going to hurt me, or they don't listen to me, or they don't understand me. I don't feel safe. And sometimes it's not that they are not safe. Is that
Right.
I'm not connected with safety and I'm triggered by
Okay.
different things, you know?
Okay. Okay.
And then the last one is the wound of separation. And
Mm.
this is where, you know, we are living separate lives, or emotionally there is a disconnect. Like we might have a great social life or a great sexual life, but emotionally we're disconnected. Or, you know,
Okay.
or we have great intellectual talks and we have great empathy for each other, but sexually we're disconnected. So we
Mm.
feel that disconnect in different ways, and obviously it plays out differently.
Yeah.
So to heal this wound of separation is to connect with connection within ourselves. It's like, do I see myself? Do I hold my ground? Do I hold my space? Do I honor who I am? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, in the books that I've written, you know, obviously.
Yeah, you have a book. You have a book. What's the book called? The
Well, I have a
healing.
few about this. I have this one. This one is my favorite. Empowered
Empowered
relationships.
relationships.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I do
This
know
one
about that one.
is very it's kind of very basic in the concepts that what I spoke about. Is very easy to read. And
Yeah.
then I have this one, like how to heal a broken heart. And this
Ah.
one, I talk about the wounds more in depth. You know,
Okay.
I have meditations, and you know, there's one chapter on each wound. So this one is more in depth. But for me,
Yeah.
when I made these connections, it really changed how I was working with people, because I could see everything through this perspective. So I was listening from another level, and I could give information to them, to give them resources from a different level. And it works very well. Like, people really get it and can move forward with their relationships, obviously with their own stuff and their relationship stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's fascinating. That's amazing. And just going back to the wound of control, how did you say that you can heal the wound of control?
Well, control is about lack of freedom. So we feel we have no freedom. We're not free to be or think or feel. And we think that freedom needs to come from outside, or we feel somebody's oppressing us. In fact, it's us. Like, we are oppressing ourselves. Even if we are with a very controlling person, again, it's a dance. We're playing
it's a dance. Yeah, it's a dance.
So it's to tap into freedom within, and to claim, I am free. My energy is freedom. So that cannot be taken away. Even if I'm locked in a cell, I can still tap into freedom.
Okay. Yeah, of course. It's kind of, it's like the control and the freedom. Yeah. That's wow, that's really interesting. I really want to read your books, because your books are amazing. Yeah, I mean, my God, we could talk about, we can talk about these unconscious wounds like forever, but
yes.
But yeah, and how can people find your books? Where are your books available?
Yeah, I have them on hard copy, but I also have them for download on my website.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so people can go to your website. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, I'll in the description, I'll have, I'll have your website and everything, so people will be able to find you and your and your books. That's great. And then we spoke about, earlier we spoke about, healthy conflict, right? So how would you say, because I think that that's something that most people don't think about, right? Like, how do you have healthy conflict, right? So do you want to talk a little bit about healthy conflict?
Yeah. So the first thing is not to demonize conflict. Conflict is part of a healthy relationship. Right. Now, conflict could be healthy, or it could be unhealthy.
Right.
So if you are in a dynamic of unhealthy conflict, then you need to bring things back. So, there are rules to conflict, to fighting, or, disagreeing, so it's like not to lose respect for each other, not to lose respect for each other. And there's a technique that I use, I call it giving the news. So if we are going in a couple through a conflict that is long-term, that is something that is going on long-term, and there's obviously a disconnect, I always like to start with giving the news, which is just giving information to the person of where I am today. So I might say, listen, Laura, today I feel really annoyed. I feel like I'm this short to just blow off, and I just really need space today.
Okay.
So now now you know the deal, right? So now you tell me your news. You tell me your news and say, actually, today I feel really calm and I feel at ease, and I think I'm just gonna call a friend and I'm gonna go for a coffee and I'm just gonna enjoy myself today, for example. Right? So it's about giving the news. So when we give the news, we don't make any comments. We don't give any suggestions. We don't try to fix anything.
We don't try to fix anybody. Yeah.
Exactly. We're just receiving where the other person is at. Now, what I find is, like, when we have this dynamic and it becomes something that is second nature, when the conversation needs to happen, we've already created a healthy space of expressing and listening, and not trying to interfere with what the other person is saying or not saying. So it creates a healthy limit about who I am, what I'm saying, what I'm feeling, and where I'm coming from, and where the other person is coming from. But I encourage more conflict in relationships.
That's hilarious that you encourage it.
Yeah, I encourage it. Again, healthy conflict, because
Yeah,
that's how the relationship grows. And
yeah,
anything
it's
that
true.
comes up in the relationship is always looking for more awareness, more love, more healing. The relationship is a co-creation between those people, and
Yeah,
the relationship always, always, always wants to evolve.
yeah,
Always.
always,
So the
always.
relationship is demanding us to be more honest, to bring our stuff up, to be more kind, to, if we are repressing anger, to get angry with honor and with respect. Relationships are that energy that we create together is always asking us for more authenticity,
Yeah,
always.
yeah,
And just because we disagree on something, or there might be a blind spot that is coming up in the relationship and there is no resolution in the moment, it could be a blind spot or a conflict that goes for months or even years.
yeah,
It doesn't need to be the end. It doesn't
yeah,
need to be the end. It's just that, some issues are fixed quicker than others, or that we come to a resolution. But to be in that place of healthy conflict, I think is a very positive place to be.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's so true what you said about that after, going through conflict, the relationship gets stronger.
Always,
Always,
always. Yeah,
always. Yeah,
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 because that's the
definitely.
growth. That's the
Yeah.
growth. Mm.
And I love what you said about like giving the news.
Yeah.
Like kind of like today I need space, like
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like, what's your status today, right? It's kind of
Yeah.
like, how you do status updates on Facebook or whatever. So what's your
Yeah.
status? Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Like it's a bit like
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah, like what's your status today? Okay, today I need space and today I need to be with my friends or whatever it is, right? And
Yeah.
it's about honoring what you need and honoring what your partner needs, right? And respecting
Totally.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and find a space where our needs and our desires and our status
Yeah.
they can flow. They can flow and merge with understanding.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really, really like that. And what would be your 3 top tips for people to do on a daily basis, to feel
Yeah.
better and to flow
Yeah.
better with themselves and with relationships?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I always do is when I wake up in the morning, I have the thought, what can I do today to make my husband's life better?
Wow. I
And
love that.
and
I love
depending
it.
on my energy, that might be making a cup of coffee, or it might be something bigger, like it doesn't need to be
And
anything extravagant, but it's the
yeah.
thought, like, what can I do today to make his life better?
Wow.
What can I do today? But it's just the intention that I'm
Wow.
looking to connect with him,
So,
you know.
okay.
So I find that really good, and they given the news as well, because that sometimes if there's tension,
Yeah.
John always laughs about it. What's the moon like today? It's a full moon, or
Yeah, like what's happening with the moon? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So again, it's for him to know, like, if I'm a bit cranky, it might be like, the moon is,
The moon.
whatever, the moon, let's blame it on the moon.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
giving the news is really important, because sometimes, we might feel upset or happy or whatever, and we don't really want to talk about it in the moment. But
Yeah.
if we don't say anything, it creates a sense of separation.
Yeah.
So just giving the news, it brings people together. It brings the couple together,
Yeah.
and then have a laugh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I totally
Have a
agree with
laugh.
that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just
Yeah.
even like
Yes.
sending a little picture of, the Facebook, whatever, like a joke,
A
send a
joke.
joke, just send
Yeah.
a joke, or whatever, something that just have a laugh with your partner. Because sometimes life is hard, like you're
Yeah.
working, if you have kids, and you can
Yeah.
get into this, it's like have a laugh together. Like, I think that's really important to
Yeah. I agree with that so much. And me on a daily basis, I mean, I find joy and laughter everywhere.
yeah.
And yeah, like I think it's so important. I think it's so important to laugh and have fun and enjoy life with your partner, and I've written
Yeah.
articles about it, I've given talks about it. So yeah, and like I give laughter yoga sessions as well. Like people come and laugh with me for an hour, like
Yeah.
so like I'm big.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I'm big into
Mm,
laughter. I'm big into
yeah.
laughter, and people always ask me like, how can you be so happy and positive all the time? And I say it's a choice. It's
Yeah.
a choice because I mean, I've been through a lot in my life. Just because I'm a
Yeah.
happy and positive person doesn't mean that my life has been a walk
Yeah.
on roses, because of course I've had good moments, but I've had
Yeah.
incredibly challenging moments, but it's always a choice, right? It's always a choice.
Yeah.
So now I choose to live life to the fullest and to laugh and enjoy every moment, right?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's to honor our pain as well. Like, we can't
Yeah,
just park it outside, but we can deal with it in a more empowered way. Because
exactly.
if there's time for crying, we have to honor the tears.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
find it's very
Yeah.
healing as well to be able to cry with your partner. I
Yeah.
find that very healing because again it releases and to be witnessed when you're crying and to be held when you're crying, that's
Yeah,
also it's a
definitely.
very intimate space.
Very, very. Yeah,
Mm.
when somebody opens up to you,
Yeah,
and tells you things that they haven't told anybody, and their eyes get all watery, and they're opening. I mean, that's emotional intimacy, and that's
yeah,
that's amazing.
totally, yeah.
So yeah, no, those are really, really, really good points. And I really loved the part where you said that every morning you think about how you can make your husband's life better. I mean, imagine if all marriages were like that, Maria. Imagine
Yeah.
if everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there would be less divorces, right? There would be there,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. There would be less
Yeah.
divorces if
Yeah,
everybody
because
was
it's
thinking,
to keep
yeah,
the energy in, to keep the energy in the relationship, and
exactly.
it's very easy to feel frustrated or disappointed or that your partner is not giving you the attention. It's very
Yeah,
easy to go there,
very,
and
yeah.
that's why it's a daily focus to bring your energy into the relationship, because even like right now there's so many distractions.
Yes.
There's so many distractions, and it's very easy to just bring your energy out, your emotional energy, your
Oh,
sexual
yeah.
energy, everything out of the
Everything.
relationship. Yeah,
Definitely. And it's like you always have to nourish a relationship, right? Just like
always.
you always have to nourish it, right? Because if you don't nourish a relationship, it's not going to last, right? Like,
No.
yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to nourish it. And just the same way that you water a plant, you have to water the relationship, right?
Yeah.
The relationship. So yeah, all of those are such great points. And wow, wow, Maria, it's been amazing. I could stay here talking to you all day about relationships.
Yeah.
And then, oh yeah, one other thing that I wanted to mention, before we close, is that yeah, like earlier we spoke about, twin souls and soulmates, and what we think about twin souls and soulmates. And we both agreed, that this idea that there's only one perfect person for you, like neither one of us believes in that, right? Because you can have a very strong soul connection with several people, right? Like it's not just one soulmate or one twin soul.
Mm.
And I think that, from I do think that everything happens for a reason. And I do believe that we meet, people, certain people in our lives, to learn from each other and learn, big lessons and all of that. And many times, soulmates, which I would consider, those souls that you have a strong, soul connection with. Many times, those souls and those people come into your life to, you teach each other really big lessons, but you don't always necessarily stay together, right? So I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of people that have this romanticized notion that, oh, when I finally meet my soulmate, when I finally meet my twin soul, like that's it, we're gonna get married and live happily ever after, like the fairy tales. But we know that yeah, those
Yeah.
fairy tales are not realistic, right? Like
We've been around the block a few times.
exactly,
I know, and
exactly.
sometimes like it really breaks my heart when I have a client and maybe the relationship ended years ago, but they're so fixed that that person was the one that it's impossible for them to open up to meet somebody else because they feel somehow like either they're gonna go back together, or because the other person is gone, like there's no more love available. There's,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and that breaks my heart, because again, that comes from a belief.
Yes.
Or sometimes, you know, people stay in very unhealthy relationships because of that belief, because they feel, well, if I go, I'm never gonna meet anybody. So,
Yes.
you know,
Exactly.
so yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not that, you know, twin flames or soulmates, or they don't exist or exist, whatever. Everybody is free to believe what they want, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just to keep in mind that you deserve an honest, respectful relationship, and if you're not there, maybe that's not the relationship for you. And if you are there and both of you want to work on it, you can heal and move forward. I've seen this. I mean, I'm sure you have. I work with people that they've been to the brink of divorce, and they both of them decided, okay, we want to make this work, and they've made it work. Other people don't, because they're not fully in, you know. But if you really, both of you are in, the relationship will thrive. But you know, just don't get stuck in a place that there is no growth just because of a fear that if you let this one go, that's the end.
That you're gonna, exactly. And I agree with you so much on that. And that is something, you know, that I've told, my clients as well. And another thing that I've told, you know, my clients is, you know, look at the stories, right? Because it's all a story, you know, like what story are you saying about yourself, about relationships, about men, about women, like all of those stories, right? And if it is a negative story, you can turn that story around. And then also, it's never too late. It's never too late, no matter how old. It's only too late if you believe that it's too late, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you can find love at any age, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, Maria. This has been fascinating. You know, I could stay here talking to you about relationships all day. And what is how is the best way to find you? Like if somebody wants to connect with you?
Yeah, through my website is the best way. Yeah. So yeah, you put the link.
I'm gonna put the link.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the link in the description. So and then you mentioned you have some online classes as well on your website, right?
Yeah.
So then people can go. Yeah.
Yeah, I have online courses that you can take at your own pace. You just receive the material like videos and meditations and PDFs, and you just learn about the wounds and the dynamics in your relationship at your own pace.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Maria. This has been amazing. I've enjoyed this I've enjoyed this relationship. I've enjoyed this. This is a relationship. Yeah, I've enjoyed this interview and this chat with you so much, and I've learned so much myself. You know, because that's another thing too, right? Just because we help people with relationships, I mean, we grow and evolve and, you know, learn new things every day as well, right? So thank you. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you to everybody for joining us today. I hope that you liked this interview and were inspired, you know, and I hope that it's giving you a lot of things to think about the relationship that you have with yourself, about the relationship that you have with a partner, with your friends, you know, with your parents. You know, think about, you know, what are those wounds, right? And of course, you know, you can get one of Maria's books as well, which are amazing. But yeah, thank you. You know, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe and give us some likes and comments. And you can follow me on social media as well. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, everywhere. And don't forget to tune in every Friday. Every Friday, I post a new interview with an amazing guest, full of insights and full of knowledge. So for now, bright lights, stay well, stay happy, and laugh a lot. Remember to laugh every day. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.